Though he was bound with chains, Peter remained unshaken in his faith. Acts 12 verses 6 to 7. How could anyone remain so resolute when facing such a perilous situation? The Apostle Peter, known for his fiery personality and bold pronouncements, found himself imprisoned. His arrest came at a time of great upheaval in the early Christian church, a period marked by persecution and fear. His unwavering belief in Jesus Christ had made him a target, and now he awaited his fate within the cold, unforgiving confines of a prison cell. The air crackled with tension as Peter found himself surrounded. It was a scene he couldn't have imagined just moments before. His bold words ringing in his ears, his spirit high from preaching the gospel. Now, the glint of steel and harsh faces reflected the stark reality of his situation. The guards had arrived swiftly, silencing the crowd with their presence. Peter, caught off guard, was abruptly seized, his freedom snatched away. Disbelief warred with a sense of foreboding as he looked around at the stunned onlookers. Their expressions mirrored his own shock and confusion painted across faces that moments before were filled with eagerness and awe. He tried to speak, to offer some explanation, but words caught in his throat. The weight of their gaze seemed to press down on him, a palpable reminder of the gravity of his arrest. A wave of fear washed over him, threatening to drown out any remaining hope. He was being taken away, dragged from the very heart of the community he had sought to inspire. But even in the face of this unexpected turn, a flicker of defiance ignited within him. This wasn't the end, he knew, not truly. The whispers started before Peter even stepped into the room. He could feel the weight of their scrutiny as he entered. Religious leaders from all corners of Jerusalem gathered in hushed anticipation. The atmosphere was thick with disapproval, laced with accusations waiting to be hurled. Their faces were masks of judgment, a chorus of disapproval ready to erupt at any moment. Peter found himself caught in a whirlwind of questions and accusations. He denied knowing Jesus, his words echoing hollowly in the cavernous room. A flicker of fear crossed his eyes as he repeated his denial, each time feeling the weight of the lie growing heavier on his soul. His denials weren't convincing. Even to himself, they rang false. Yet, he couldn't bring himself to admit the truth. Not with those accusing eyes upon him. Not with the fear of their wrath consuming him. The warmth of camaraderie and shared faith that had once filled him was replaced by icy dread. The truth crashed down on Peter with the force of a tidal wave. He denied knowing Jesus, each lie twisting his heart into a knot of guilt and shame. Now, confronted with the roosters crowing, Matthew 26 verse 75, the weight of his betrayal threatened to crush him. His knees buckled, and he sank to the ground, overcome with remorse. He wept bitterly, tears streaming down his face like rivers of regret. His pleas for mercy were choked sobs, desperate whispers lost in the night. "I didn't know you," he cried out, wishing desperately he could take back every word. He remembered Jesus' gentle words, the unwavering love in his eyes. The warmth of their shared faith now seemed like a distant memory, replaced by the icy grip of fear and regret. Darkness pressed in on Peter, thick and suffocating. He was trapped, surrounded by cold stone walls that seemed to close in with every passing moment. Fear gnawed at his insides, a constant companion as he awaited his fate. He was to be led before the high priest, accused of betraying Jesus, yet all Peter could think about was his own cowardice. But even in this pit of despair, something shifted. A sense of peace settled over him, a warmth that spread through his chilled bones like a beacon in the darkness. It wasn't the comfort of earthly solace. It felt more profound, more otherworldly. He couldn't explain it, but he knew he wasn't alone. As dawn broke, guards approached, their faces grim and determined. Yet, as they reached for him, an invisible force seemed to surge around Peter, halting them in their tracks. They stumbled back, disoriented and confused. This was no ordinary prison. Something powerful was at play, shielding Peter from harm. A wave of fervent prayer washed over Peter. His heart pounded with a mix of fear and desperate hope as he lifted his soul to heaven. He cried out for deliverance, for strength in the face of overwhelming odds. He poured out his anguish, his shame, and his unwavering faith, clinging to the promise that God hears the prayers of those who seek him. Deep within him, a wellspring of divine power stirred. The weight of his situation seemed to lessen as he surrendered his will to a higher purpose. His soul found solace in the knowledge that even in the darkest hour, God's love and mercy endured. A sense of calm descended upon him. He knew with absolute certainty that something miraculous was about to happen. The power of prayer had moved mountains before, and Peter believed, with every fiber of his being, that it would move again. Rhoda, hearing Peter's voice at the door, couldn't contain her disbelief. Could it be him? The very man who had been imprisoned just hours before, now standing outside? She rushed to open the door, a mixture of joy and confusion swirling within her. Her eyes widened in astonishment as she beheld Peter, miraculously free from his chains. "It is truly you," she exclaimed, her voice laced with awe. But even as she spoke, a flicker of doubt lingered in her mind. She had heard stories of divine intervention, but could such a thing be real? Peter's appearance confirmed what she already knew in her heart. God had answered their prayers. He explained how angels had intervened, freeing him from his shackles and guiding him back to safety. Rhoda listened, her initial skepticism melting away as Peter's words resonated with the truth of their faith. His account filled her with overwhelming gratitude and wonder. This wasn't just a story of escape. It was a testament to God's power and faithfulness. Rhoda realized she had been given a front-row seat to a miracle, a powerful reminder that nothing is impossible with God. The news of Peter's release spread through the early Christian community like wildfire. It was a cause for immense celebration, a tangible sign that God had not abandoned his followers. His miraculous escape served as a powerful reminder of their faith's strength and resilience in the face of persecution. With Peter back among them, the believers found renewed courage and conviction. He became a beacon of hope, sharing his first-hand account of divine intervention and inspiring them to persevere in their mission. His words strengthened their resolve to continue spreading the message of Jesus despite the challenges they faced. The impact was profound, uniting the community even closer together in shared faith and purpose. They realized that they were not alone, that God was with them every step of the way, providing strength and guidance even in the darkest of times.